And so I find that the S&P is pretty much never wrong when it comes to elections, and I'm gonna go with the S&P.
Let's back that up a second. You said the S&P 500 tells you that the party in power is going to stay in power. What does that mean?
Well, if the S&P had drifted off and not made a new high this year in the election year, I would be very concerned. At least for if you're a Trump fan, you should be very concerned. I made some notes here. What do we got? Let me just look quick. The S&P was around, I guess, like around February 19th. Somewhere around there, it hit a high of about 33.86 somewhere. I'm probably a day off, one or two, but I'm taking a quick guess out of my head. It hit in the beginning of September. We got 35.80 on the S&P. And we're still trading nicely right now. And actually, it looks like it's setting up for a really big rally, which makes me think that, again, what happens with the stock market, as we've talked about this before, is certainty. And with Trump, you know what you're going to get. Whereas a Biden administration still would be a big unknown to a lot of people, even though he's been in politics for 47 years, he hasn't been president for 47 years. So the certainty of knowing what you're going to get, and why with a guy like Trump, you're going to have a lot. This certainty means a lot more crazy up and down with the market. Whereas if you had a guy like Obama, who was kind of you had a steady market. The market reflected his kind of behavior and the kind of policies he put into place. Trump, you get, he still operates like a businessman, even though he's the president. So a lot of times he'll do things or say things that seems to catch the market off guard. So I just think that you'll see more of that. So the S&P is kind of telling us that what we have, the known, the Trump, is going to continue. Like, that's why it's showing us by making new highs.
That's very interesting. I never heard of that one, where you follow the S&P 500, and if the S&P 500 continues, it tells you the person in power will stay in power. Is that correct?
On the election year, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. See, and it's almost, I don't want to say it's foolproof, but it's pretty close to foolproof. Whereas some of the other indexes like the Dow, and where I'm old fashioned, so I still follow the Dow. Most money managers look at the S&P 500. So it's hard for me to, I don't always look at it's not my go-to index to look at all the time. Like if you ask me how the market is, I'll look at the Dow first. But when it comes to the election cycle, you have to look at how the S&P performs, and it gives you an idea of what you're going to get. And so it's already sort of signaled it made a high this year. It's made a higher high even after selling off. And I think we're probably going to get significantly, with a Trump victory, I think we're going to get significantly higher highs.
Okay. Now you spoke about, I know you've been a New Yorker, you're backing your New Yorker President Trump, but I want to ask you this question. What do you think would happen to markets if we have Senator Biden become president or former vice president?
Well, I think the market's going to be a little disheveled. For one, all you got to do is look at his taxes. The tax plan he put on the table is a gargantuan tax increase. It's going to hit corporate taxes hard. It's going to hit individual taxes hard. It's going to hit capital gain taxes hard. It's going to raise taxes across the board massively. And what that's going to do is hurt earnings of companies. It's going to cut down on spending. It's going to, they do these tax raises with the claim that somehow it's going to help the middle class. That is absurd. I've never seen any real evidence that shows a tax increase somehow helps the middle class. It's kind of like that argument that if you raise taxes, you're going to cure global warming. It's like one of those things. It helps politicians a lot because it gives them a lot of money to spend. But I would be very concerned that you might get the market knocked off quite a bit if you have a Biden victory. I would be very unnerved about the market if it looks like he's going to win.